Welcome to Color Me Happy. My name is Brandy Hofer. Thank you so much for being here. As always, I really appreciate your time, and I'm excited about this week's feature on YouTube and here on the podcast. Melissa Townsend or Melissa Townsend Art on Instagram. Or let me just see here. This is her website. Oh gosh, here we go. I should just know this already. It's probably melissatownsendart.com. Just a guess. Oh, bingo. melissatownsendart.com. She's so cool. And I've actually have this super weird connection to her. She lived in my town for a few years. And my husband and her brother were friends way back a long time ago. And then we actually went to the same university, just 1 year apart. And we never met in all those things in time. And we just connected as people this year. And it's just like, one of those things with those people who they get you. And this was such a magical, special conversation. And I feel honored that Melissa came on. She's so talented, like crazy, she just has always been this way. And her stuff, it just has this beautiful, stunning, happy, joyful quality, but at the same time, like not in a like hokey way. Is that the right way to explain it? Like it's just like tasteful and elegant, and that's just the way she is. And yeah, I've always been a huge fan of hers, and as a person too, she just has this beautiful sunshine about her. But you'll see or hear. So if you want to check out her feature too, we have a free community now. It's called Color Me Happy. It's on Facebook. It's mostly females supporting one another on, creative journeys, motherhood, business, and it's been really special so far. And each week or every couple of weeks actually, because I'm writing a book right now and also running my practice, so things are getting off, and obviously full-time parenthood has gotten me quite I'm pretty busy, I guess. Just a little, and I do like to sleep every once in a while. So I've been releasing every 2 weeks consistently, and I'm really proud of myself for staying on track with that. And I've been loving doing the podcast more often and getting those episodes out to everyone, because it's just kind of my way of filling that social cup, and I know that I will just meet more special friends. You can apply to be interviewed on our website, brandyhofer.ca, and you can go right into podcasts, or just, get a feel in the community, see how you like it, and if you'd be a good fit. This week we have a crazy print sale coming up. 40% off if you buy $100 more, something like that. Anyway, we've been working super hard on the site. That's also something I've been intensely doing. And I'm so proud of it. It's where I've wanted it to be for years, and I'm still working really hard at it. There's a lot of major things to do, but it's getting there, and I just see beautiful things happening. And I'll let you hear Melissa now, because that's why we're all here. It was a magical conversation. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did.
Oh, these are hot and not comfortable. Teddy stopped napping for 3 hours, so I'm really struggling for time. He naps not like an hour. So yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, so thank you for being here. I appreciate it, taking the time. We struggled to find a time between our lives.
Because we're so flexible.
Yeah. where we could chat. We did have a chat. What was that, in the summer?
It was a
We
while ago
did,
now.
yeah, and it was great. So
Yeah.
I asked you to come back. So everyone, listeners, this is Melissa Townsend, and she is a very talented artist, creative, and I would say, like, how would you describe your work, your artwork? How would you best describe it? I know every artist hates these questions, but like, I would say you're most known for the animal portraiture, but it's not just like an animal portrait. It's so much more. It's kind of like these really amazing strokes. And I feel like I've known you for a while, and we'll talk about that too. You've always had this delicate, beautiful way of creating, and like so subtle, but at the same time, just like it has this joy and beautiful quality. So, anyways, how would you describe it?
I think that was a great description, actually. I always wanted to paint, so I just wanted to get it out. And how would I describe it? I just wanted to get it out. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know how to do that. I didn't want to be like doing anything like to please anybody else. I was just trying to connect with my heart, really,
Mm-hmm.
and what is inside. And so at first I didn't want to worry about what other people were like thinking and stuff. And then I just started to have so much fun working with people that I just okay, I love joy. I really do. And I think that joy is something that is really mishandled, or like not even known. Like, I think joy
Mm-hmm.
is a thing that people carry, and it's so key to our health and wellness. And you mentioned joy, so I'll talk about joy. Like, I just want to get that out. I'm not always joyful, but I love what joy can do to a life. And so
Yeah, I would say they always have like this beautiful, light, delicate quality. And I feel like yeah, you want to like spread it around. Do you remember back in, it was been like 2006, so way going back. So Melissa and I both
yeah.
well, you still live outside of Halifax in
Mhm.
Canada, right? So
Mhm.
I went to NASCAD in Halifax, and so did Melissa, a couple years before me, maybe.
I
Yeah,
graduated in 2005, so
yeah, like we just missed each other by a year.
yeah.
And there was like, do you remember this? There's like this balloon. What was that? Where it was an art submission where like it was hope or joy, and you made this like beautiful balloon piece or something. Do you remember that? And I remember seeing yours, and I was just like, that is like next level. She's amazing.
I have
Uh,
no idea what
yeah,
I'm talking
I remember. I have a weird long-term memory skill. Like I'll remember, oh yeah, they were wearing the blue shirt with the stripes.
Yeah.
Like, do you have that visual memory of
What?
like,
I don't remember this piece. What was it? What was
it
it?
was just it was like a watercolor, and I think it was, yeah, a child holding a balloon or something or rather. I
Do
don't
you know
know, but
if
yeah.
if back then when I was doing watercolors, which I was doing, yes, I
Hmm.
yeah, might have been for like a Hope Blooms or something, like some kind of a charity piece. Is that what
Yeah, yeah, they were for
you
charity,
I
raising
wonder
money.
I wonder because I remember it didn't like no, Randy.
Sorry, we can move on from my weird things, but we connect in more ways than just in going to the same university. We don't have to rehash university or anything because I know how we both feel, and we don't want to say anything bad.
No.
We'll spread positive things in this regard, so we will skip over that, and if that says enough about it, fine.
Yes.
Okay, so we actually, my husband was you guys are family friends, and that's where we really kind of go back. Like, I didn't know you back then, but we're all from Lloydminster. So were you born in Lloydminster, or did your family move here?
Yeah, my parents ended up moving to Lloydminster for a short time or for a number of years. And I wasn't living at home at that time. I was sort of bouncing between schools and jobs and just searching. Before I went to NASCAD, I did that kind of stuff. And my little brother and your husband were like besties. So it was really sweet.
My thing just popped up and it's like, there's echoes. Am I echoing to you?
No.
Okay, then that's fine. Keep going on with your sweet story.
Oh dear.
No, it's fine. I don't know how to use things clearly with my headphones.
If it's
using right now, we are. If anyone's listening to the podcast, you can see on YouTube that I'm wearing baby Spider-Man headphones because my baby likes to steal my other ones because I hand painted them with Posca pens in like this really cool way. And now they're the hottest item in the house, and I can't keep them hung up right next to my whole live feed setup. So, okay. Yeah. So Carly was besties with your brother.
Yes.
That would have been so long ago.
It would have been so long ago. Yeah. Before like late 1990s into the early 2000s, possibly. Carly would know the timeline probably better. But yeah, they were like really good friends. And yeah, so my brother had some challenges as he got a little older, and Carly was making good decisions and my brother was struggling to make good decisions. So they anyway. Yeah, so we are kind of like family connected.
Mm-hmm.
And it's awesome. And I saw that I always wanted to meet you when you were out here, but I just didn't. I don't know why.
Who knows? I was kind of a shit anyways.
Were you?
Yeah. Well, I was in high school, I definitely was. But at university, I was, I feel like before I had children, I was just like next level, a little bit selfish.
Selfish?
I'm a much better person with children, and all around just more caring. And I was still down to earth good person for sure. Always have been. My mom raised me very like morally strong. So but I did shit things, you kind of
I get it.
do in your life have those periods, right?
Yeah, I totally get it. I could have reached out to you. I was probably just busy doing stuff, painting and trying to sort out my life, and I never thought that I should meet anyone. I'm actually not that social, so I try. My husband keeps me social, but on my own, I'm kind of, oh man, like, oh, I should have done that. I should have like gone out with this person or like had tea or like. And I'm just like, oh well, I guess I didn't.
I feel like I started all this like podcasting and whatever, and it's forcing me to connect with others because I have a lot of artwork because I sat in my studio for about 7 years and just like made a lot of art, which is great because I'm very practiced. And you kind of have to do those things in order to have a sense of like a confidence in you're like, yeah, I can do that. And like, it's good there because I have no fear when it comes to creativity. Like, of course I have the little like, well, hope this works out. If it doesn't, I know if I fuck up, I can cover it up and get it to work. Yeah. It's one of my greatest qualities. Like this rainbow behind me was a big green, massive blob of creative fun my children made, and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna pull this together in a day because the photo shoot is tomorrow.
Oh, it's great.
I'm like, how about a rainbow? Because I spray painted over the green house paint they decided to throw at the wall. So
spray painted like right in the space like that.
Yeah, I did. So studio. You can't really see. It's ventilated.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It sucked out most of it, and if I just throw on my ventilator, it's fine.
Oh,
and I mean, it's like the garage. I have lots of windows I can open, and yeah, it's relatively okay. So, so enough about me. Oh, I wanted to say, the no fear thing. I just wanted to give a great example of like this weekend I have 2 murals booked. I've been looking for mural jobs all year. So of course, naturally in 1 week I would have 2 in 1 weekend, which, so that's, most artists would be like, can't be done.
How are you doing that?
Let's give it a whirl.
No. How are you doing that?
And then I'm like, hopefully they work out the first time because I don't have time for it to not, because they are on deadlines and I love projects and get so excited. And I'm obviously grateful to have any sort of work because, you know, with us, it's very sporadic. And I've been working all year to set up some passive sources. So that's where a lot of my energy went, to set up those sustainable passive income sources in my business, which are so essential to actually be successful in this business, and finding those little things. So I worked really hard on that. And of course, so some of the big jobs, you know, didn't get the same amount of attention to, you know, get the jobs, marketing, right? Yeah. So anyways, I can't say no because jobs are great. Okay. And yeah, what I do is I really balance the time and account for drying time and what coatings need to go when, and wham bam, hopefully, again, like that's where the creative fear, I'm like, hopefully these work out, because I don't have time to, like, one's a gazebo, it's gigantic and it's for an outdoor community space, and they're seaming it together the next day on site, so I gotta get it done.
Wow. So you're just gonna go and paint areas of it, like maybe
so it's 3 big panels, and then another one is a business that's expanding and they want like some selfie areas and like beautiful, like curating their space with like their design and their colors and into the mural, so then it like goes with their brand. And it's a salon, but they're expanding into like a marketplace coffee shop, and it's a great idea. We really need one in our little community. I'm so excited and proud of her for seeing this whole vision come into play, and I'm super happy to be a part of it. But it's just, you know, and I feel like you should tackle some murals. I think you'd be amazing at it, and they would be like magical and special, and I could see your work. Yeah, just fly over here.
I am flying over there.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I am.
I'll fly to you too.
Come on.
Okay, anyone have a mural job for 2 amazing artists? We'll fly. And here's the hook, everyone. Speaking of what this salon is doing, if you're like, oh, mural's a little bit pricey, think of it as your advertising. Dip into your ad budget, which should be pretty massive yearly.
Yeah.
It's free advertising all year. People take pictures around it. They tag your business. Not only that, it's like so beautiful. It's just like, it's curating your space in this magical, awesome, next level way. So yeah, just throwing it out into the universe. Now it's going to happen. We're going to work together and we're gonna do this.
That'd be fun. I would do it with you because you're such a pro at that. I love it.
I do have to always brush up on materials because I'm like, I phoned the store yesterday. I was like, let's just go over this, because when you have to weatherproof something, it's like 4 extra layers. Just so you know, it's like isolation coats and way more technical than you think. And if that's a 50-foot wall, then holy shit. Right? So you got to get some spray guns and some equipment and scissor lifts, and it's a whole nother ball game, but it can be done, and it's really fun and it's really physical. I don't know about you, but I really like So there's a lot of, social media and back and forth and communication that goes on in our business that people don't really think about. So it's about 75% computer phone. But when I get to physically make something, it's like, let's go.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I love it. Like
Yeah.
just the drive to get it done and just the focus.
The pressure.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
It's so good. I love it. And like if there's anything in my day that's interrupting me, it throws me right off and I can't even.
So you don't want any extra kids then?
How's that going for you, Brenda?
Yeah, right?
Okay, so I never had another. I have a beautiful son, and I don't have a brother.
He's so beautiful.
He wants
so beautiful.
But he's doing good. He's good. He's happy. We make sure we do lots of friends and we do lots of activities. So
there's a way to balance it, and I think it's good. And if you're the person who gets thrown off by just this shit, literal shit sometimes.
Yeah,
for me, literal shit.
Yeah.
If you get thrown off by someone doing something with poo, then no, and that's a lot of people kind of ask me, like, how are you doing it? And I was like, well, I've learned to really multitask and like shift focus really quickly. And I feel like there were stepping stones leading to be strong in that, like working in the hospitality industry for 8 years, like you have to learn to be the master multitasker. And of course I write about it in my book.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that book that's there almost.
Yeah, good.
Almost. Yeah. So how old is your son?
He is 9 in the morning.
That is crazy. I can't believe that. I just remember his little helmet hair and his big eyes and him being this dewy little precious being. And
yeah,
it's crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah, he's 9 tomorrow. So he's really excited to not travel with a car seat. Now that he's 9, he doesn't need one out here.
Oh, is that like a rule there?
Yeah. Okay, so now you're echoing. Or I'm echoing.
Awesome.
Maybe I should turn it down. No. Yeah, so if you're 9, or I don't know the pounds, but if you're either 9 or this many pounds, you don't have to sit in your car chair anymore.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. So you live outside of Halifax, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you just moved there?
Yeah, about a year ago now, we moved here to the Seabright area. It's a little coastal community along the Peggy's Cove Road.
Oh, great. Is it high traffic or anything, or pretty busy? Because Peggy's Cove is quite the place to go, right?
Yeah, it's the place to go. And lots of traffic, lots of traffic, but it's totally fine. We're set off the road and lots of trees, and it's beautiful. We love it.
Yeah. I mean, there's only so many routes to get, so like, because it's a bit like, it's hard for them to take out the land there. It's a big job.
Just put a road down somewhere. It's pretty.
Blow up some rocks.
Yeah, we're on the road to Peggy's Cove, and the road swings around. So you can go to Peggy's Cove 2 ways, but you kind of like usually do the loop. So we're on a bit of a loop. So a lot of like motorcycle groups, or like, lots of like sometimes late night racing. Like it's a dangerous road actually, but honestly, we love it out here.
Yeah. And do you find that it's better to be outside the city, like just in that nice new space for you creatively?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. It's been good for our family. We had a sweet little neighborhood we lived in before we moved out here, but all the there were so many kids. Like, they're precious, precious people, and a million kids. And for my head and stuff, it was like I didn't know where Vander was, and I had to like kind of go and chase him around or like keep eyes on him. I mean, I still have to do that, of course, still have to do that, but it's like now we're raising our son, whereas before the neighborhood was kind of raising my son.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to come home for dinner. He didn't want to go to bed. He didn't want to, because there's always someone playing outside, and he just was like, well, they're allowed outside. They're not eating dinner. And I was like, like, I don't care what other people are doing.
I'm looking for I want to build a holiday home, specifically for this reason.
Yes.
Because it is so, like, it's so great, but it's not at the same time, because I cannot keep up with where they are. And yeah, that's right. They don't want to come in for supper. They just want to play and run around like a crazy street person. Like, and if they leave a gate open, then Teddy's running it, like, he's 2. So now he can run and bike very quickly. And he's hard to catch or find, and he'll escape any chance he gets.
Wow.
So it freaks me out. It freaks my husband out more. I don't even tell him some stuff because he's just very anxious. But I want like a retreat in the summer. So I can just like go and they will stay and chill for 3 seconds because it is great. The friendships are amazing, and I know they'll remember it for the rest of their lives.
Oh, yeah.
But it's hard to, when you can't keep track, right?
And if they're social kids, which I have a sense that your kids are pretty social, they just can't even help themselves. And you don't get to have any quality family time unless you leave your house. I get it.
Yeah, I'm grateful, but at the same time, it's a challenge. But yeah, like yesterday, 6 kids showed up in my garage with Nerf guns. I was like, get out of here.
Yeah, I'm that mom.
Yeah, hooligans.
Yeah. Hey.
Gus was like, let's make cookies. And I was like, okay, if you're going to actually help me make cookies and not just be like, Mom, let's make cookies. But really, I make the cookies and they eat them. And that's it. I'm like, if you're actually going to participate in the cookie making, if not, I'm not giving you my hour and a half to make these. So they showed up and I was like, get out of here, Gus, we're making cookies. We're doing it, buddy. Yeah. And it is, and I like those special moments where you connect and they are learning something. Like he's really actually taken on to, is Vanner into cooking at all?
He probably would be if I gave it more to go too. I'm not really a big kitchen, like I do it, but no, the answer is no, but he can be into things.
If you like present it.
Yeah, he's more active. He wants to do like outdoor stuff and.
Yeah. Oh, my kids are so active. But Gus has shown like a slight interest in, like at least making things for himself. So I'm like, yes, let's do it. And this summer he was making eggs for breakfast, which I thought was for a 6-year-old pretty good. Nice. Like using the stove and stuff.
Yeah.
He's been into it, although he makes this ketchup mustard mayonnaise egg thing, and I'm just like, that is so gross.
That sounds pretty amazing.
I mean, it's gross. Yeah.
But that's great.
No. I think it's would be okay. I'm just like, whoa, when I see it. But I'm to each their own.
Mayonnaise, mustard, and ketchup.
Yeah, with a boiled egg chopped up in it. Like it's like an egg salad sandwich, but added ketchup. Of course, a little boy would be like, ketchup. I never understood ketchup macaroni hot dog. Do you like it?
Yep. Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I was like, macaroni is good. Macaroni is good just by itself.
Have you tried macaroni and cottage cheese?
No.
Awesome.
Really? So interesting.
Hot macaroni, hot Kraft Dinner, or like Annie's or whatever.
I have to do Annie's now because I'm gluten-free and they're the only ones that make a gluten-free.
They do a nice job of that.
So, I always make it gourmet.
Yeah.
Like I add truffle salt and like roasted garlic and a bit of nutmeg and cayenne, and then
you do it up.
yeah, Parmesan and fresh parsley. So it's like you're eating shitty macaroni, but it's like you're eating it in a restaurant.
You're jazzing it up.
Yeah, I take it next level. But I love, after you go to Italy, you're like, well, they use all this fresh stuff and it
They
makes
do.
it so much better.
Italy. I've actually been there, so yes. It's
Yeah. Oh, I want to go back.
please.
Maybe let's just also put this into the universe. We'd like to paint a mural in Italy
That would be really fun.
together
Please let me in.
and eat so much pizza and pasta.
Ooh, pizza. Their pizza was really nice. They did the nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, and that's where I learned about like arugula, like rockets with like the tomatoes and the cheese, and all the.
You can't really get that here. The same
no
freshness
you have to
or flavor.
I was going to tell you, no, cottage cheese. You need Kraft Dinner hot, and then you dump cold cottage cheese on a corner, and you mix it a little, and it's just like it's probably
really
gross. I really like it. So, I don't know.
I'm gonna try. I don't have cottage cheese on a regular, but I'll give it a go. Why not?
Let me know how it goes.
I will. Speaking of arugula, I can never say it anymore because Carly ruined it. We went to this nice restaurant once, and he's reading the menu. He's like, "What is arugula?" And I'm like, "Try again. Arugula?"
Yeah.
I was like,
"Yeah,
nope, close." And now I'm like, "What is it?" I knew what it was until he screwed it up so hard that it's in my mind. It just
call it rockets.
Rockets.
There we go. Rockets in Italy.
Rockets.
Rocket salad or something like that. And I was like, rockets? What are rockets? Yeah.
I think my podcast will eventually turn into a full food podcast because I could talk about food all fucking day, and each podcast I end up talking about food with like a Katerina Popova. Do you know who that is?
I do know who I'm more visual. I think I know. Is she the
She is the founder CEO of like Create Magazine, the Art Queens. She's a creative. She's a beautiful artist too.
I'm pretty sure I know who she is. I need to see a photo of her.
She's a beautiful Russian woman. Like she's stunning.
Oh, she's a lady. Maybe this is a Russian lady. I guess.
Well, she's in the USA. Like her parents were immigrants. I believe this is her story. Yeah. Sorry, Kat. I'm gonna fuck up your story. She's on the podcast. You can listen to her story. She's on. Yeah, we started talking about beans a lot and stuff, and she's really into. She had this really transformative experience in the last few years because she stopped drinking and she started like really feeding her body like the good stuff. And that's one of the simple joys in life, really. And I think that's why I love it so much, is because it's so important. Like health, like food health is so integral to mental health. Yeah. And for me, mental health has always been like on the sidelines, like there are extremes and I'm like on the very low end, but I know if I don't exercise or eat well, it throws it off for me and I'm not my best self. So yeah, we talked a lot about that, journeys and now she's doing like Ironman competitions. Like she's gone further than most would with pushing the limits, but
I jumped to Ironman when I was younger. Like I would have that was the direction I was interested in. I loved running and biking and swimming. So I would have loved that. It's great.
Oh man, we got to hang out. Those are my favorites too.
I had like some hip things going on the last, I'm in my 40s now. So some things went off a bit with my hips, and this is not a conversation that I really want to be sharing. Anyway,
that's okay.
I can't run anymore. I can't. I don't really. So I walk now and do some Pilates. I do Pilates and walk, but I don't. and I can still get lost in the woods and on a hike and be okay. But like I've worked really hard to stretch my hip out. It's just been such a nuisance, but thanks to some help with that.
I'm gonna send you something that changed since I was 19 to 2 years ago.
Yeah.
My back would go out from running and I would just run through the pain.
Yeah.
So like it was, I couldn't pick toys up off the floor.
Okay.
Again, so 19 to 33.
Oh.
That's a lot of years.
What kind of stretching? Is it stretching?
Foundation training.
Okay.
And it's off the internet, but we screen recorded the video and it's only like 12 minutes long. And it was Lance Armstrong's physiotherapist or something like that.
Yeah.
And he has this foundation training thing. So I've integrated his moves into my weekly yoga. Oh. Honestly, this shit changed. Like my back doesn't go up. Like I don't have hip pain. I don't have.
I'm so happy to hear that. Send it my way.
I will. Yeah. It's like, it took like 3 months, I think. 3 months. And then.
Good for you to not give up.
I couldn't believe it. Like my husband always is like, well, try this, try that. I'm like, yeah, leave me alone. But like, it was one of the things that worked and I was surprised. So he wins this round.
Nice. Really?
He doesn't. Oh my gosh. I was texting with a friend and we were talking about our stubborn children. And she's like, and it was through text and she's like, yeah, they must get it from their dads. And I literally just laughed out loud and I could tell like it was a text, but I knew we were both laughing pretty hard. Like, no, it's us for sure.
It's yeah.
It's our problem.
I think that our children can develop our most annoying
our best personality traits.
Yeah. Are very.
But wouldn't you, and I think about this, like it's a little difficult now, but wouldn't you prefer your child to have that trait instead of a passive personality? Later in life, like you want them to be an individual who can stand up for what they believe is right and or other things, right?
Yeah. The stubborn, defiant sort of like, no, I'm doing it this way is going to be a good, like, we work on it with our kids, but it's going to be good for the future. For when you're an adult, you may need to make good decisions. And when you're called to lead something or told you gotta do this thing, you're going to do a good job because you have established and grown in boundaries and good foundational sort of.
Yeah, and you're not afraid to be your own person, and not everything everyone tells you to do is right. Yeah. So to question things is not a bad quality, although whatever. Or and people don't give kids a break on that. Like they don't think about it that way.
No.
You know? And like especially when they're really young, and they have those like freak out moments and you're like, oh, you're frustrating. We gotta go. And I'm so mad and I'm being the worst person and you're being the worst person. But I'm going to give a great example. Finn, he couldn't find his brand new shoes for his first day of school, junior kindergarten, whatever it is. He's 4. And he had a massive, not fun. And Carly took him to school and it was not fun. And he's like, never doing that again. And I'm so frustrated. And I'm like, I hear that. Like, yes, like this is the worst. And I deal with him all the time. And I'm pretty sure it's because I was that way and I'm okay now. So, but just think of it this way. Let's turn it around for a second. You are going to a wedding. You had your outfit picked out last week and your dress shoes, you had to go with the outfit. And 5 minutes before you have to go, you can't find your dress shoes. You're probably going to be like, fuck, I can't find my shoes and we have to go. And this is right?
Yes.
Yes. So little kid, first day of first school ever. want to be wearing my best shoes. I have my outfit, my cool new backpack.
Totally.
But my shoes that I was thinking that went with this outfit, I can't find them.
Yeah, it's super hard for the little ones, and we have
Yeah.
to let them like roll that
The
emotion.
benefit of the doubt sometimes.
And so, did you find his shoes?
I found them in the basement like 2 days later, like some under a pile of shit.
So
But
he had school for 2 days.
yeah. So he well, it's only every second day, right? So he had them the next time, but
Oh, cool.
it's just like, yeah, he's gonna have a breakdown because you would too. And people gotta think, like, give them a little room. Just like sit for 4 seconds and think about it. And the book that really changed my life with toddlers and that sort of behavior and connecting was Happiest Toddler on the Block.
Okay.
It was the best, and not only dealing with that sort of, but typically when anyone has a hard time or anything like that, especially children, they have a hard time many times a day because there are things that confront them, like they're not good enough or big enough all day. They're presented with these things. So if you're like, oh, don't worry about it, we'll get it later, or those where you brush it off and you're like, shh, because you're in the grocery store and they're fucking losing it and you're like, shh. Well, he says in this book, he brings it around, like, you have to first connect. You have to be like, I hear you. You are mad.
Yeah.
You're so mad. I would be mad too.
Yep.
You have to like kind of like connect with them and like make it just not like mimic their behavior, but this is a big deal. I do care about what you're saying. Like, how would you feel, if an adult did that to you? You're like, I'm having a really tough day.
I'm really
Someone said this to me and I was like, you're fine. Don't worry about it. Right? Like,
so
how
bad.
How would you feel?
Broken.
So it's the same, and it's the same kind of, and so and that was one gem of so many in this book, and it's
good. That's
so
a good
my
book.
favorite.
That's a really good book.
Yeah, and he has Happiest Baby on the Block, and he invented this new bassinet, and it mimics the womb. He's a smart cookie.
Okay, what's his name again? Let's write his name.
What is his name? I can't grab my phone. Oh,
I'll just go by the title of the book.
Yeah, it's meant for like, 4 or 5-year-olds, but it really is applicable to adults even. And it was so good. I have my computer and I can type it, so you'll see me like looking around.
All right. That's totally fine. I am gonna find that book just for like reference, because you can forget that kids.
What? Harvey Karp. Yeah, so he
found it already.
Yeah, I googled it. Everyone's first move really should just be that. Yeah. I think I changed an older woman's life the other day. I'm so random. This is never going to be about anything. She's like, I don't know. She got a custom artwork done of her partner.
Yeah.
Or someone got it as a gift for her who he passed away.
Oh.
And so it was a very special gift.
Wow.
And I made it out of the worst photo of all time. So I couldn't see his eyes. They were blacked out. So I had to make his eyes up. And she's like, it seems a little off. And I'm like, well, I'm not mad. I'm not a magician. But I said,
you look at the photo you gave me.
Yeah. I'm like, it's an exact replica because, again, I've been painting in my studio alone. Last year alone, I did 130 custom faces. So it's his exact face by measurement. But I am so nice. And I hear what you're saying. And I will move his eyes further apart for you. Even though, and she was very sweet. But she couldn't find my house. And she was only 2 blocks away because I asked her where her house was. And so she couldn't check emails, etc. And I said, that if you Google it, that's just your first move. You Google, how do I open my Gmail account? That's what you do. How do I use my map? and there will be a video, a YouTube video, exactly for each problem you are having, because there are many people in the world that have the same problem as you and they can't do these things. But I know you can learn. And that's like my grandma when she lost my grandpa. I don't know how to use any of the remotes because he picked all the shows. I was like, wow, there is a whole new world for you, and you get to pick now, Grandma.
So
And you're going to be happy about it.
Change your life. So hopefully.
Right? I think I might have changed your life. Like, I feel like, you know, someone just being like, you know, and if you have, and I said, if you have any more questions, you call me again and I'll help you.
That is going to make her so happy.
Yeah. And then hopefully, she no longer has to get, someone drove her by my house 2 days before she came to my house to show her where my house was so she could meet me on time.
Aww.
Yeah, it's so sweet. Honestly, I love what I do because I get to meet these amazing, special people. And I'm sure you feel the same way. So you're yeah, would you say the majority for you is custom work?
Well, it used to be mixed between that and shows.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'd say it's mostly these little, like I've been doing these little mini drops, and they're so fun. I have one here. It's not done yet.
Yeah, let's see.
It's not done. I'm just like kind of am sketching it out a little bit and playing.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna do this, finish this, and it's not finished. But
I don't even know how you do that. So like you pull off the dimension when they're so small. Like I personally, like, especially with brushes.
Yeah.
It takes patience and skill, right?
Oh, it's just what I love to do. I'm just like,
yeah. I'm like, fuck this, and I throw it down.
Oh my gosh, and that's why you have 3 boys, and you're just like, yes, and I'm like, I had one child.
Like, actually, you know what? I'm ready to move on. Let's do it. I'm ready to run full speed with a sword fight right in this moment, as opposed to being like, that's why I've taken commissions. It's like minimum 8x10. I'm like, because I know I get very frustrated if it's a sticky detail.
Yeah.
Like I tried knitting on the way, I think it was the way home from Halifax. Someone's like, you might like knitting. I was like, okay. So here's how you do it. Okay. And I got about 3x3 inches, and my hands are so sweaty that the string got tighter and tighter and tighter in my wet hands, and it just got stuck on the sticks, and I just threw it down. I was like, fuck this. Not for me. No, I can't do like embroidery. I can't do crafts. I can't do crafts because I'm like all for like big physical fun, like expressing myself in that way. And I'm so proud that people have that beautiful patience. And I think you can see that in your work, that, you know, you put patience and care into every small detail. One that really stuck out for me, and I want to come back to your little drops. Mm-hmm. But do you remember when you did this?
I don't know.
Do you remember the cityscape you did for that home? And I don't know if you normally ever did those cityscapes, or it was like, they're like, can you do a cityscape? And you're like, well, I paint animals. But
was it the bird's eye view of was it a painting or a drawing?
It was a big painting for like someone's house, and it was a lot of buildings.
It was the buildings like this.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, I remember that.
Like, I don't know if you have it on your social media, but like that was so impressive.
Thank you.
Let me just bring back to this old memory. Okay, so your drops. You've been having fun with them?
Oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun with these little drops. So we'll do like two or three of these, or like a couple smaller ones even, and I'll just like release them for people to purchase, and I'm able to meet people, more people. I'm able to just get a job done really quickly, where it's like it's just more satisfying. I feel like I'm working.
Yeah.
Like I'm like a working artist. Whereas like commission, I love commissions too, for sure, for other reasons. But commissions are like more time, more. I get a little more concerned because people are hiring me essentially for a certain thing,
Mhm.
and I forget that I'm gonna be okay doing it. Like I'm like, no, I know what I'm doing. This is what I do. They like what I do. Why am I freaking out?
That's why they came to you in most cases. Sometimes you get
Right.
the surprise asshole and you're
It's
like,
true.
did you look at my work beforehand or what
Yeah.
happened here?
Yeah, it's true. So I have to like do some self like pumping up really when I do certain commissions, because I'm like, I'm not actually sure I can do that one, but I can. I've done it. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
proud of me.
Yeah. Like like we're getting to the age where you're like, I did that already and I can do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
We're seasoned and in a
Yes.
great way.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. So I just have so much fun doing these little drops, and they're just satisfying. I get to meet more people. People come by and pick them up, and I meet people at parks, or like just with all the stuff going on, I meet people all sorts
Mm.
of ways, and parks, because
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so whatever, it's
So it's because you like to, kind of keep to yourself. It's the social part for you is also like a benefit and a perk to the way you're connecting with your creativity.
yes, it's
Yeah,
true.
that's lovely.
Yes.
I feel that. I feel really free when I collage.
Yes.
And that's how I like to work, like small to medium.
Yeah.
It's just there's no pressure.
Yes.
It's like and actually enjoying, you put on your music and
Yeah.
because I don't have to get a face or an eye in the right place.
You don't.
Exactly, right?
No.
So with the collage, it's playing and it's playing with color, composition, and shapes in a way that it took the pressure off, especially when I had the last few years of hundreds and hundreds of portrait commissions. So when my friend Rosie Shinners um, sorry, I'm getting buzzed and beeped that like we do. I'm usually a do not disturb her, but that's one of my favorites. It's my sister. So Rosie Shinners, you should check her out. She's on the West Coast. And she's it was a Thrive mastermind group, and we stuck together after Thrive stopped doing masterminds.
Okay.
Thrive is a big thing out of the West Coast too. They all female creatives group. They're so great, and I think they they still have like pods and stuff like that, and I like memberships, and they're amazing. I actually have an interview with one of their founders. I'm so excited.
Ooh.
And what?
What's the interview about?
No, I'm gonna interview her. She was messaging me last night. She was like, "Oh, because we were in this Create Magazine Canadian Artist Feature thing, top Canadian artists."
Excellent.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
Was it recent?
Yeah, like I haven't. I think I'm gonna share it tonight. Yeah, it was. They did it for Thanksgiving because they're American, so they're like, we'd like to celebrate our Canadian friends on their holiday. So it was really cool. They're really nice, supportive females as well.
Awesome.
And where did my stories begin?
Oh,
they're awesome, supportive females.
Rosie
Shinners. Yeah. So collaging, she gave our mastermind group a collage challenge. And after that, it was like, it clicked, and I love it. It's so fun. And when my friend's Photo Trouvé magazine, run by Juliana Knopfel, is that how you say her name? And Sarah Twiggy Boyer Art. They started this Photo Trouvé magazine, and so they're like, "Oh, do you have some collages?" I was like, "I don't." And they're like, "Well, it's in 2 days. We don't want to put pressure on you to make them." I was like, "I'll make them. I'm here with bells on. I love collaging. Thanks for having me."
Yeah.
So when I get it, I'm like, "No problem. I will do it. Challenge, yes." Because I just find it so joyful, and releasing in that same pleasant way. Okay, I want to talk about, speaking of, here's squirrel again for me. Speaking of Canadian female artists, or whatever, female artists in general, because like who I just mentioned, Brazil, Florida, they're from, so artists that feel alone, number one, or female artists specifically. I don't know if you felt this, but for years I felt like it was a struggle alone in a vast desert with no oasis on the horizon. Because I couldn't find any, and I mean, things have changed with social media and connection, but I struggled to find people who were, you know, who had similar goals to what I did in my field. And I would knock on a lot of doors, and it was male dominated, and they just weren't connecting with what I was doing. Because of course they could, maybe some, the special one. I have an amazing Jeremy from Assiniboia Gallery in Regina. He has my work in my collection right now. He's very special, has lots of kids, totally understands my process and loves it. And so there is the odd, you will find your person. But okay, so rejection, and you knock on those doors and you get turned down time after time after time. So I said, you know, maybe it's not, in this case, maybe I have to knock on some different doors, and I'm just beating my head against a wall. So 4 years ago or so, I started, and this is advice for young female emerging artists, go find your tribe, go find your people. Because if they said no, they're just not for you. And at some point, you'll find a yes, and you'll find a connection. You'll find lifelong friendships. You'll support one another, and you will give opportunities to them, and they will give opportunities to you. And it's a big, beautiful community once you discover it. And then it's positive energy putting toward something useful instead of just slamming your head against a wall over and over and over again.
I think, sorry, Brandy, can I?
No, I was done. I talk a lot, so go for it.
I found in my own journey that I needed a purpose behind my work, for my work to take any form or shape or whatever. Like, if people are just throwing out stuff, sometimes it's not like we can all have purpose in our work that's really rich if we actually take a minute with ourselves and to take a pause. And I see that that's missing sometimes, and people just want to get something quickly done or get it done quick, and I'm not talking about like how fast you have to work this weekend. I'm talking about like how people are just quick and they bypass the
steps to get to where you need to be.
Yeah, there's a lot of bypassing going on, like microwave art or microwave life. And I get it. I like microwaves for some things too, but with like what you're going after in your life, and like if you have goals, you have to stop and look at, you just have to like stop.
That's step number one. You're correct. That is step number one, is self-discovery. Yeah. And I mean, but I hear that and I support it so much, but I think sometimes, and no, it's not fast. This is 15 years going on, like since I was in Halifax to like now, right? Something like that. I'm not great at math, but somewhere around 15 years. That's a lot of time to figure some shit out and go through some things. So I created To Heal through some loss, and along the way you discover yourself, and that led to so many other, like working with my children in my practice. But I also, before I even had my children, traveled, painted in France, did all those things. And yeah, you discover while you're doing it. So at the same time, yeah, there's no skipping steps for sure.
Yeah.
But there's also, you can't be afraid to do the things because you're not ready. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'll never be ready for anything.
No.
No, you're like maybe 60% ready. Dive in.
Maybe.
And you kind of figure it out along the way. Do you think I knew how to paint a 50-foot mural? I like literally one night I was like, I just really want to paint a mural. I need to paint a mural. I think I could do this. And this is me. This is the don't overthink it thing, right? Because life is seriously too short. I messaged Jill, and I just had Jill on as like our first member feature, and you are one of our feature members too in our new community. So excited. And Jill is the reason, not the only reason, but a stepping stone into me getting that first 50-foot mural job. I was like, who would know someone downtown, a business? Well, Jill is this amazing female CEO of her company. She's in marketing. Yeah. And I'm like, she knows a lot of people. She knows, and she's great at connecting people. Not like that's not what they do. They don't get jobs for people, because then people would run, and like they're sticklers about that. They're like, we want people to come to us, not avoid us because we're trying to sell them something. So I'm like, I get that, but they do like design, logo, website, all the social media. They're rocking at that, packaging, stuff like that. So I messaged Jill. I was like, she might know someone. Who knows? I'm just gonna ask her anyways. Yeah, she's like, yeah. She messaged me back right away that same night. And she's like, yeah, John wants a mural. I was like, really? I'm going to message him. Cool. Thank you. Do you have his email? She's like, yep. And I emailed John. We had several meetings. Murals don't happen overnight, but in this case, it was like a magical connection. He was been looking for a while for a muralist for this big wall. Okay. Textured brick, like with indents. Learned a lot of lessons there, right?
Yeah.
Exterior, it was a big lesson on how much you should charge for murals, what materials you need to use, and what equipment you need. So there is something to be said about research, but I like to dive in first and learn as I go, and that's my personality, because whatever. Yeah. And yeah, so one thing will always lead to another. And if you're afraid to take that first step, then you'll probably never take the step, you know?
Yeah, it's super true. You just dive right in, and you're fearless. And
not fearless, but like, you know, when you've experienced something, you're like, well, I don't want to have regrets. Yeah, like, I don't want to be like, well, I could have, but I didn't. I want to be like, well, I tried, and it kind of worked out, or it didn't, or it did work out really well.
Yes.
Yeah.
The risk and the sort of fearlessness. Yes,
yeah.
It's always there. It's good. It's part of the momentum that is needed for
building. The fear needs to be there, or it wouldn't feel so, like, you wouldn't feel the high that went along with it, right? Or that's like
accomplishment feeling.
Yeah. Like, whew, I can't believe that happened, and cool, and I want to do it again.
Like, it's crazy. Like, we get in our own heads, but when we step back, like, if I step back from myself, you know, I get it. But when I step back from even you, or if you step back from me, sorry, we're like, oh, like, how did I do that? Like, you know, like, how did I do that? And I look at that big giant mural that you're talking about, that I'm pretty sure I know which one it is.
The fire truck. And Kristen Hickman, she's a photographer, and she captures those magical little. She's Red Banjo Studios, and that's the thing, when you take on projects too, that's like another way to have and give support, right? And show people working together, which I think are so integral to projects too. Like, so, you know, again, back to connection and helping one another out. If Jill was like, oh, Brandy, she's texting me again, right? Or something, like, if she had that attitude, but no, she's like, I'm all for collaboration, and lifting and supporting other businesses, and specifically females, just because like the numbers are sad still. Like, I don't care what anyone says. And we went over this. She had some not great statistics. 16% of businesses are still, that's only 16% are owned by females. So like she's an all-female business, and she supports, she's always excited about what I have going on. So it started with Jill was like, hey, yeah, let's do it. I will help her,
incredible.
Not that, like, because she's a creative too. She's like, me, I want more mural jobs and whatever, right? She was like, no, yeah, I love your idea and I will help you. And then John, I want to make this community a better place. I want to make this downtown more beautiful. And I have this wall, and I'm thinking of finding an artist. And then I come to Kristen. She could have so said no to me. My pictures are mine. But no, she put me in touch with the mom of that boy. And, and it all comes together in this beautiful, cool way. While I'm painting the mural, photographer Josh comes along. He's like, oh, hey, I'd love to take some aerial footage of you doing this mural. I think it's really cool. And I'm like, really? Okay, sure. He showed up like 6 more times and took really cool footage. And then my friend from Nara Studios is like, can I do this? Like, it's just so cool. And people from everywhere, everywhere, come to that place. Like, it's just like waves of affecting other people, and you can be that beautiful person who helps spread that sort of joy. And that's, like, you have a creative gift, and it brings people joy.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool, right?
So
we forget how lucky we are.
Yeah, and it's what we want. It's what we always wanted, probably.
Yeah,
it's just insane.
Yeah, and oh, I had something and also to artists out there, people think jobs will come to you. They don't really. Like the odd good one. But pretty much every job that I have had something to do with it. Like, I have asked for it in some way. And sticking with that, I have some bigger projects because I approached the right, I saw a space or something that I had an idea, and I'm like, I'm just going to reach out. The worst thing they can say is no to you.
Yeah.
Really? So then you move on. Now I ask so many things. I ask people for so many, like, I have this great idea. I actually forget when people say no now, and I forget about it fully because I'm so busy doing the stuff that people said yes to.
Amazing.
It's crazy.
My husband started his career with seeking rejection. It was just sort of something he was driven for, and now it's something that has built him in a unique way where, like,
people come to him a lot, right?
Yeah, now. But
yeah, now it's so too busy.
Journey. Yeah.
Yeah. And where I'm from, people don't really know what I'm talking about a lot of the time.
Okay.
Secondly, like I am a business, and this is what I offer. Like, these are brand new services to people, so you kind of have to just stick it out until they get it.
Yeah.
It's been a long 9 months for me.
Okay.
Crickets. Like, not crickets, like, people still are very positive and supportive. And sometimes they're not, the odd troll. But for the most part, people are amazing. And they're like, I love what's going on. And that's a great thing about that. But there's some tough times where, people, you got to give them a minute to catch on to, like, what you're putting out there. And so time, people, stepping stones, time. We covered a lot of stuff. So if anyone, we could talk so long, and I know Teddy's going to get up soon, and there's so much more I want to ask you.
Ask me another question real quick. I'll answer.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Let's do. Well, I want to. Okay. Let's do a few things. Okay. So first of all, what is like ideally if you could do any part of what you offer, like what's the number one thing? Like, is it the minis? That's where your heart is right now?
No, I love also if I could do anything,
Yeah, like
I would
creatively.
build my own show up and just have my own like solo show in
Just keep having solo shows.
my own gallery space, and then have pieces of all sizes for different people. Honestly, this is like the only thing I ever wanted to do. I have no like and I like to sometimes gift art to people.
Mm-hmm.
Since we're talking about everything, like what is the
Yeah,
art?
love it.
I give paintings to people sometimes. I don't know when or what all the time, but I feel really strongly sometimes that I'm supposed to give someone something, and then I do that. But it's not always available when I might want to give someone a gift and I have to make it now, and I'm like, I gotta wait another 2 months before I can give them that or whatever. Just
yeah.
but
So you see yourself having a space.
I do a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of scary to say that. I mean, I do a lot, but it's kind of scary to say that. Or I would have a show in someone else's home. Like, I don't need to do. I want to represent myself well, and I want other people. If I have a gallery representing me, I want them to do it really well. And I mean, I've had gallery representation for since 2011, and it's been absolutely incredible. And I just feel my wings sort of going a little bit. I just want to do new things, but similar things, but more independently. And I would really like to have an Etsy shop too, where I just do little paintings, and I can't explain the little painting thing. I love it, but I also like big paintings too. I don't
know if you need an Etsy shop for.
Oh, I only say that. I don't think I do either, Brandy. But I just you just didn't make it unless you did your Etsy. It's like I didn't. I don't know. It's like ketchup on your craft dinner. Like it's like
So you have a website.
I have a website. I have my Instagram account, which is great. But let's talk about last week when Instagram and Facebook went down for 6 hours.
I wrote a chapter about it in my book. I was like, this is bye to American Pie. And I was like, bye, the day that Instagram died.
Yeah, it was really gross.
It felt good. It felt good.
Yeah.
It felt really freeing.
Yes.
I felt my house was together. My house and my life was together that day.
Okay.
Right? Okay, and you know what? I was like, despite, you know what, it has given me so much, like it has made the world to my creative business possible. So no, I'm not going to put Instagram down, but it has an addiction factor.
Okay.
Right? But it also is the way that I missed this because I had a lot of friends that I don't know how to get a hold of them.
So this was it for me because I have clients on there mostly I communicate with, and I wouldn't know how to find half of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, where is
So I'm in my Art Queens and I was like, can we drop everyone's subscribers list so I can subscribe so I never lose you again? Because I need to know how to get a hold of you if I can't get a hold of you. And you know what? I don't think they made a comment. I think they were just, I noticed some big changes in it. I think it was on purpose, but they didn't want to say because probably people lost millions of dollars that day who do advertising. Mm-hmm. Is that my door knock or yours?
There is no door knocking here.
It's me. I only can, my human ears wouldn't hear it, but I can hear it. The spidey senses are tingling.
Yes, they are.
So hold on, just pause because I want to talk about just your thing. Hold on.
I'm right here.
Thank you. Oh.
Visitor.
It's Finny. He's
Hi,
trying to repair his glow bug.
Probably can't hear me, but
No, he can't hear you. You're the only one to have noticed that because everyone talks to Teddy and Finn, but I have headphones on.
yeah, I'm smart.
Yeah, you're super smart.
No, I'm surprised I'm smart. Pretty
You
proud.
are. I know it took me all weekend to set up this tech. But I felt like if I was going to take my podcast a little bit more seriously, and I am, because I actually realized I love chatting with creatives and friends and finding a way to support them too. The heart, this is its heart, and let's fix its
It's a really good point, Brandy. I think there's so much untapped like creativity with like there's things I could do. It's probably kind of annoying that I just want to
it's annoying to realize that you're capable of anything and you have to choose what that thing is going to be because you're like, well, I could do this and it would be successful.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm sitting here thinking like, like all I want to do is like just like do shows and like make little pieces of art. Like what's wrong with me? But
no, I think you could do it with the tools you have.
Yeah.
Oh, Finn, I need muscles. I think, and it took you a while to like get there to that spot.
Did. Oh my gosh, it didn't take overnight. I just this year started to do these little mini drops where people feel more connected to art. They reached out. Thank you so much for selling your work on Instagram. I feel like I can connect more to art and it's more accessible. And I'm like, oh my God, really? Yes, I'm here.
Can you go find the other screwdriver? This one hurts my fingers and I can't get it open.
And I just want to be accessible to people,
Yeah, and
as you do.
With the small ones, it's like kind of like networking almost. Like it's and for artists, your return clientele is your biggest collector. Yeah, I always have repeat clients.
Yeah,
it is the biggest. That's who you have to focus on. People who are really invested and love what you do because they connect to what you create on the same level.
Yeah.
You're on the same level and they somehow, but that at the same time, that is what makes selling artwork so hard. You have to find them. They have to find you. You make this one painting and there's only so many people in the world that connect with it. And that's what makes it kind of a tough gig. That's what makes it hard and sustainable. But kind of the more thank you. This one might be too big. The more it's too big. We need the tiny one. The tiny one, I don't know where it is. It's in the drawer.
Well, I wonder sometimes, Brandy, like I feel
I'm going to get Teddy.
My work's been a little bit like I've had my own challenges in ways, but I feel like people actually find me. Like
that's so good. You have very like, and this is not an insult. You have really approachable work. Like
I love that. I love that. I want to be accessible.
It's nice. Like I said, it makes people think of moments in their lives, or they connect to the beautiful tones you're using, or like your work is so stunning. Like and I really love your floral series like you were doing a while ago. Like I love I'm so in love with everything you do.
I have to tell you a quick story about that.
We'll never go.
Okay,
Teddy's gonna no. Tell it no.
I know you have to.
It's a great thing. Teddy will just come in here and wander around a bit. It's cool.
Okay, it's such a fast story.
He ends all my podcasts.
Oh, does he? Of course he does, because he wakes up from his naps. Yeah. I was on a walk. I moved to the Seabright area here, and I can only really walk a few places because the road is busy, and so you get off the main road and you go down all the beautiful coves and like kind of like there's some like beautiful homes here, just given the ocean. So there's a lot of people that are making really beautiful coastal homes here. One of the yards, I noticed it last year. This one yard had dahlia plant, like flowers, the big little multicolored. They were stunning. And I was like, oh, I just really, 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 really want to go and take photos. But it's so not okay to like walk on anyone's property. You don't really like want to be that guy. You really respect.
What are they doing out in my yard? Yeah.
Yeah, there's cameras. There's like Doberman pinchers. Like you just don't, like, everyone wants their space, and I get that for sure. So 2 or 3 days ago, I was walking, and this sweet man was walking as well. And I kind of thought maybe he lived. I just had a feeling that he lived at the house with Dad.
That's your amazing home over there, right?
That's what I said to him. And he's like, it is. And I'm like, wow. And he's like, my name is Wilkie. And I'm like, my name's Melissa.
Great name.
I know. I have to name something that Wilkie. He's legendary. Like, guys, he just had a hip issue, and he was getting surgery and walking it off. So that's why I met him, because he was walking off his hip and stretching it out. So he's like, you can go and take all the photos you want whenever you want. And next year the garden will be better, and those dahlias will be better, because I'm not going to have this hip issue next year. And I just loved that, because now I have images that I can reference that are from my neighborhood, and just like I can put them on the animals or put them in a floral piece. But like,
I can't wait to see them.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
He said yes to you.
I loved it.
You created something, like you created and he said yes, and it's going to turn into something. It's going to lead to something even crazier. Just what we've been talking about, these amazing moments of impact.
Oh my gosh. One more I have to tell you. It's so beautiful. I was at Winners one afternoon, and I saw these mugs that resembled, actually they're in my cabinet there. They resembled one of my paintings. They had little bunnies jumping all over them, like one of my paintings had. And I just had this painting at the gallery. It was a little bit of a long sale, like, you know, the ones that take a while to sell, Brandy. It was like that. And I was like, this is such a fun painting. It hasn't sold, but then it sold. And then I was like, wow, it sold. And then I was at Winners, and I was like looking at this mug and talking to these women, and they're like, oh, that's the cutest mug. You have to buy it. And I'm like, oh, hi. You can't hear me. Hi. I just was chatting with these two women in the lineup. You know, when you're going to cash out, there's like all this stuff. Well, these mugs were there. It had a gold, it was clear and like gold embroidered like bunnies on it. It was so pretty. So I tell the women, I'm like, listen, I just sold my bunny painting. These mugs are my bunny painting. I really should buy these mugs, but I'm not going to, because it's ridiculous, and I have enough mugs in my life, and
one can never have enough mugs.
You're okay,
in my opinion.
Okay, you're right. And I showed them my painting, and I'm like, here's my painting. Doesn't it look like my painting? Yes, it looks like your painting. Oh, it's so sweet, blah, blah, blah. So I go to my car. I'm done buying, because I had been there for other things. I needed like to buy bedding, and I just needed to be really like practical mom stuff. And I get in my car. I'm shutting my door. There's a tap on my window. It's these two ladies. They each bought me a mug.
Oh, cute.
Like, we wanted to give you each a mug. We each bought you one. We just wanted to do this from our hearts. And I was like,
oh, yeah. Oh, see, those are amazing, special people.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
yeah. It is such a gift. Like, it is such a gift.
I love it.
Yeah. I have so many, and you have to be open to them. Like, you have to be ready. And I'm not ready, but like open to the possibility that there's good out there and there's connection, and then you'll start seeing it.
Yeah, there's so much of that.
And if I hadn't done that, if I hadn't said yes, if I hadn't met that person, if I hadn't smiled at that person, I would have never known. Or if I, you know,
yes,
we can't unscrew this with a pencil. I'll try. We'll try. I want to tell a quick one, and then I'm going to go, because parenthood calls.
Yes.
Moments of impact. That is going to be the title of this episode. 100%.
Look at you. Got a title already?
Yeah. Things are always firing. This one here. It never stops. Give me 3 sips of coffee in the morning, and I'm on fire.
Oh, girl.
I'm like, dun, dun, dun. Seriously, it's 3 sips because I can't go over the 3 sips. I make Carly his coffee so I can have the first 3 sips, which, by the way, are the best. But if I do the whole mixing and the beautiful pour, because it's so satisfying, right? To pour the latte. It is something about it. And I get the first beautiful 3 sips, but I'm not a coffee drinker. So, because clearly my eyelids start to shake if I do.
Yes.
Like I'm like hopped up, and I can't get hopped up because then I'll crash, and then I'll have like from 4 o'clock on like a total mental breakdown. So I always really try hard to find balance, and I am super like self-awareness. If I know I have a coffee, this is what happens. So I get 3 sips, and then I have my tea. Moving on, moments of impact, meeting people. In 2018, 2 women approached me. They ran a women's conference in our area. 300 to 500 women that are going to be here. Would you like to speak? I'm like, no, I would not. I don't speak publicly since grade 9 when I cried in front of my class reading my poem, because everything I say is so emotionally loaded that I can't. And mind you, my poem, she told us to write our poem about something we found in the newspaper, and it was about 2 kids who had passed away drowning in ice. So it was like a very sad poem. So like it was I needed to cry because I had written such a sad. Oh, you rock. Thank you. See, pretty fun.
They were in the closet.
They're in the closet, Teddy. Okay. So anyways, those things stick with you when you get embarrassed as a kid. So I was like, no, don't public speak. Mm-mm. And so they're like, sit down with, and these women are amazing. Obviously, they hold a whole conference yearly. And they're like, we think you have something to say. I was like, what am I going to say? So they're like, meet us for coffee. Nice. Just come sit with us. I was like, well, I do really like you.
Yeah.
I do really like you. I love to chat.
Thank you.
So I will meet you for coffee, sure. Mm-hmm. But I'm not speaking at your thing. Mm-hmm. And they were so nice and so kind. I was like, well, guys, like, what will I talk about? I'm so busy. I don't know. And this is not something I do. And they're like, you'll think of something. Take your time. Get back to us. And this is out of character for me. Normally I'm like, yes, I will.
Yeah.
But I only am like that now because I have done things that scared the shit out of me and somehow it worked out. I said yes to them.
Mm-hmm. I think I remember photos of this.
Yeah.
But I never.
And it was one of the most beautiful, amazing things I've ever done.
Yeah.
Wow. And 300 hearts beating to my heart.
Yeah.
And impacting a whole room and making them feel something and inspiring them to live their lives in, what I was like catching on to, what I was saying. Yeah. And so I, of course, told my story and don't overthink it and how those moments of impact changed my whole course of my life. And although those losses were detrimental and they hurt every day, they made me realize, this. And so they felt and heard my message. And I went on to give it to more women virtually the next year. And honestly, it took me 3 months to write that presentation, put it together and get, it was still on cue cards, but I'm getting so many dings, but that's okay. It was still on cue cards, but I still did it and and people still stop me today. And they're like, I connected to what you said. I also lost my mom and, so.
Absolutely.
It's just, and now I would never even go in front of a video camera. I'm getting so old. We taped that on a cassette.
I hear
right?
you.
Yes. Yeah. Blockbuster, all that stuff. Okay, I gotta go. My kids are roaming free. My watch is things.
Okay.
I love you. I'm so happy we connected again. And if you're coming here, I better see you. I could tell you that much. We gotta try.
I will send you some messages about that.
Maybe if you can,
and not talk about it.
Yeah,
Right
clearly I have to go. Like shit's happening. Who knows?
Okay.
No, it's my dad's called 3 times, so I'm like, he's probably here or something.
Okay. Thank you, Brandy.
Oh, this is the best.
Thank you.
We'll do this again. Okay.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.
See, isn't she just this beautiful light that you just gravitate toward, like the sun, kind of? She has a magnitude, that's for sure. And thank you, Melissa, for chatting with me. And I know this won't be the last time, that's for sure. And be sure to check her out at melissatownsend.com, right? melissatownsend.com. Her art is actually spectacular, like just mind-blowing. And follow her on Instagram as well. And just another reminder to pop into our community, check it out. We would love to welcome you. I'm the one who approves every member. So I'd love to have you and meet you and hear more about your journey. So stay cool, friends. Thanks for being here. We'll chat soon. Bye.